Hi Year 5! Today we're going to talk about the life cycle of amphibian. So your lesson objective is almost the same as last time, except this time you're going to draw and label the life cycle of amphibian. Your steps to success is to learn the life cycle of an amphibian, which is a frog for our lesson today. You're going to learn how a frog lays its eggs, learn how a tadpole lives, and learn how an adult frog lives. Okay, so first, let's look at what the life cycle of an amphibian looks like. So just like last time with the fish, we start with the eggs. This is where the frog came from at first. And then the eggs will then hatch, and then comes out a larva. A larva is any animal where the young is different from the adult is called a larva. It's not just for insects. That's why the young of a frog is called larva. But a lot of people call them tadpoles. It's just like for the mosquito, the young is called the larva, but you can also call it a nymph. So that's why the young of a frog is called larva here. Next, it grows. You can see that it's still a tadpole, but there's legs coming out. So this is the larva tadpole growing up. It will then grow up until there are 4 legs, and it still has this tail. So it's like between an adult frog and a larva, a tadpole. So that's why they call it a froglet. And then when the froglet grows up even more, it will become an adult. And then the adult will lay the eggs. So this is the the more complete life cycle of a frog. This is stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Stage 2 is all of this, okay? This is stage 3. But when you're asked to draw it, you can just draw it like this. The eggs, the larva, and the adult. Okay? So let's look at the eggs. So most frogs lay thousands of eggs in their water. So you can see this is a frog and these are the eggs. Sometimes it's hundreds, sometimes it's thousands. It doesn't necessarily have to be in water. That's why it's most. Some frogs lay it at the bottom of a leaf that's near water. Some of them actually bring it with them around. They put it in their stomachs, the eggs. But then when they lay, they release the tadpoles from their mouths. So, but most frogs, they usually lay the eggs in water. So frog eggs are clear. So you can see there, you can see inside the eggs. And jelly-like with a black or brown part in the center. So it's like black but surrounded with jelly. So the black or brown spot will grow to become larva. So you can see here, this is like the closer view. You can see it's already starting to grow in there, and they're covered with a jelly-like surrounding. So this is still an egg, but it's already starting to grow, and it will hatch soon. So some of them looks like they're hatching actually. So, larva or tadpole. So when the egg hatches, the larva emerges. So these are the larvas. You've probably seen them before if you've played outside and look inside some drains, longkang. You can see like something moving. These are the baby frogs, tadpoles or larvae. So the larva of a frog is called a tadpole. As the larva grows, metamorphosis occurs and tadpoles grow feet and tail, and the tail becomes shorter as they grow up. So metamorphosis, I'll explain later. So as the tadpole gets bigger, it will grow legs, and then the tail will become shorter. So this one we don't see the tail becoming shorter first, but we can see it's already starting to grow legs. You can also see the backbone over here. So remember, amphibians are animals with backbone, so you can actually see the backbones of a tadpole when it's younger. Okay, let's talk about what metamorphosis means. So Metamorphosis is the process where a larva changes shape as it grows into an adult. So this means if when it changes from, for example, caterpillar to butterfly, tadpole to frog, or nymph to wriggler, you can see how different the young and the adult are. So the process, the transformation of from young to adult, that's what we call metamorphosis. So we can see here a picture of a tadpole growing up into a frog. You can see it starts off very small. It only has like a head and a tail, and then it grows up, and you can see it's starting to like become fat at the center, and then it grows its back legs. And then you can see the front legs are growing. It's growing up more, but the tail's becoming shorter until at the big frog, you can see there's almost no tail, just a little bump. So we can see like an animation of this. Let's wait till it loops. It starts off as a tadpole, and you can see it getting bigger and bigger. It's almost the same as this. So see, and then it becomes this, and then this, and then it becomes this, until it becomes a frog. So let's talk about the adult. So when a tadpole grows up, it loses its gills. So a tadpole, when it's young, it has gills. But when it's an adult, instead of gills, it has lungs. An adult also has legs and has a shorter tail, or no tail at all, some people might say. The tail just goes into their body, I guess. The adult frog lives both on land and in water, so this is different from the tadpole. The tadpole lives only in water, but the adult can live both on land and in water. So frogs have slimy skin and webbed feet. So you know this, amphibians, they have slimy skin. You can see it's slimy and shiny over there, and their feet are a bit flat on the bottom. That's what we mean by webbed. So you can see two different kind of frogs. Both are still slimy, and they still have the same kind of feet. So this is what an adult frog looks like. So time for your work. Your work for today is to complete the worksheet on the life cycle of amphibians.